UFL, they're from the 20-yard line to encourage more returns and more excitement. The average NFL drive starts at the 26, but in the UFL, it is always great field position. Average drive starts at the 37. So we'll see what KD Cannon out of Baylor can do. Zooms across midfield, cuts upfield at the 25, and San Antonio will start just past the 30. And also, if you haven't yet watched these UFL games, well, first of all, you've been missing out. But secondly, unprecedented access. So this is who we have mic'd up. You hear from the announcers, but all the participants as well. Quarterbacks with play calls, head coaches with decision making, and not listed there, but the great Dean Blandino in the U.S. Army Command Center with transparency in officiating.
You're talking about the transparency and the sound. I heard the word swing screen. Why? Great pass rush, get it out quickly.
They do just that to John Lovett. It doesn't help the rushing yards, but a positive gain of 4 from Quentin Dormady. And we talked about quarterback injuries. San Antonio has dealt with that as well with Chase Garbers, who beat out Dormady. But now Dormady is the guy because Garbers is out with a wrist injury. You mentioned it. We're going to watch how much of the ground game we see from the Brahmas or how much OC A.J. Smith goes through the air. And the first 2 are through the air, and this is Landon Akers hauling it in toward the 40 into plus territory. The former Iowa State Cyclone for 15.
Former Iowa State Cyclone. He also signed with the Rams as an undrafted free agent in 2021. Landon Akers is a patient, and they called him a sneaky kind of fast receiver. Doesn't look like he's the fastest, but he's so great in and out of his routes. That's what got him wide open.
The San Antonio offense coming off a loss last week against D.C. Coaches told us on the field they were angry. They said they want to throw for 400 today. So 3 straight to the air, and Dormady under pressure. Got it away to Lovett, and it's incomplete.
HL motion Detroit. Tight. HL motion Detroit.
That's the always quotable and young offensive mind, A.J. Smith, who first met Wade Phillips when he was 20 years old. Second out, first run play, and it's John Lovett off those 153 last week. Pushes the pile inside the 35 to the 33 for 6 yards, setting up third down.
Cole, you heard that Detroit call. Well, earlier on the play before, I saw a couple people in Dormady's lap when it comes to pass rush. That draw, how does it affect an offensive line and a defense's rush?
Well, it's basically cheating, Acho. We're letting you come upfield. We're letting you run past us. We're going to just give you, we called it a pit maneuver. As soon as you get past us, I'll swipe you in the back and kind of help you pass. But yeah, Chris Odom had a nice bull rush on the previous play. No surprise they went with the draw.
On third down, Dormady to the sideline for Justin Smith. And did he get both in? Incomplete. And there's a flag as well on the far side of the field.
Incomplete. Ruled incomplete.
Number? What number you got?
15.
15? Okay.
Offside. Defense, number 15. 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
Well, that's costly for a Houston team with just 1 win this year that has lacked discipline, and the penalties have piled up, including last week.
All we're seeing from Houston is mistakes. At least overall this season, we've seen a ton of mistakes.
Yeah, I've announced it by the mic.
That's
the previous plays under video review.
I can't tell if that it's up. I got left.
Don't be selfish, Q.
Does that? Yeah, it may just tap the ground. I can't tell if before that right foot hits, does the left foot touch? I'm on the high right end zone again. Just can't tell. Okay, we're gonna let it stand. We're gonna let it stand. Couldn't tell on that second step.
That is Dean Blandino, the VP of officiating in the U.S. Army Command Center, communicating with you, the viewer, but also head referee Jason Autry. And so you could hear what he was talking through on those 2 feet of Smith.
And certain plays in the UFL are reviewable. Catch or no catch. Line to gain. So those are things that doesn't have to be challenged. Dean is looking at that in the U.S. Army Command Center every single play that is a reviewable play.
After video review, the ruling on the field is incomplete pass. After penalty enforcement, first down.
So on 3rd and 4, it's just the 5-yard penalty on Raheem Bingham. And A.J. Smith's offense continues to march. From the 28, 4-man rush, and Dormady across the middle. He's got Cody Latimer. It'll set up 1st and goal for the Brahmas after 20 to the 6-year NFL veteran. And how about Cody Latimer? He has said that this is his last year playing football. He said this season is about getting that last itch out, and he's produced top 5 in the league in receptions. Lovett, left side made a cut. There is a flag down as John Lovett got about 2.
Go ahead. What you got?
Number 2, neutral zone infraction. It's going to be a defensive offside, number 2.
Defensive offside, number 2. 5-yard penalty, repeat first down, right?
Offside, defense, number 2. 5-yard penalty, repeat first down.
Cole, this is the 3rd time on this first drive that I've seen the defensive line jump off sides. 2 were called, 1 wasn't, they got back. What are you hearing on the sideline, or what are you seeing to cause this defense to be jumping?
Well, I can tell you right now, a lot of frustration from Eric Price, the head coach, with Christopher Allen there. But the snap count has been changed up a little bit by San Antonio. And for a team that often goes fast, you don't change that too much. So this could be a Houston defensive line that felt like they had a beat on that snap count, Acho. And now that it's a little bit different, just getting a little ahead of themselves.
It was 8 penalties last week for Houston in a loss against St. Louis. And out from inside the 5, Lovett went hurdling and got stood up and lost the football. Houston's got it, and it's a takeaway in the red zone from Glenn Logan.
So Glenn Logan, yes, but Reuben Foster with the punch out. 1st-round pick, get the ball out. Logan, LSU, recover.
Back in the huddle with some of his teammates here. They're going back through a couple of the looks that they saw defensively on that last drive. I'll try to catch up with them as soon as I can.
It's a huge takeaway.
Oh, a huge takeaway, but one of the benefits of having these 9 iPads on the sideline is that in the UFL, you get a chance to actually go back and watch the full replay. In the NFL, it's just a picture. You can see pictures, not plays. Big time change.
One of the innovations of this league in week 7 of a 10-week regular season. Roughnecks on offense for the first time, and this is the former Florida Gator Mark Thompson who lost his helmet and gets blasted at the 2, stood up by Teron Vincent out of Ohio State.
Teron Vincent is a stud on that defensive line.
24-year-old starting nose, the son of 5-time Pro Bowler Troy Vincent, of course, high ranking with the NFL. And you got Houston backed up inside of their own 5, trying to start something.
And we got to shout out Tommy Vincent, Teron's mom, on Mother's Day as well.
You had your suit ready for today. We get whistles pre-snap. You got a couple different hash marks on the field, so you got to make sure you're using the right ones.
10 seconds.
Not as wide as the college hash marks. This is the home of the Rice Owls. TJ Pledger, part of the 1-2 punch with Mark Thompson, gets a carry and takes it out to the 8 for 6 yards, and it brings up 3rd down for the Roughnecks. So Jarrett Garantano, 26-year-old again, who has been out since week 2. Head coach C.J. Johnson told us that, look, he was originally the starter. He informed both quarterbacks of this decision on Wednesday. And he also told us we still might see Reed Sinnott, who had been starting behind Garantano today. Four-man rush. Garantano under pressure, throws it away toward the sideline, and 3 flags fly in. Corey Mayfield in coverage on Emmanuel Butler.
We have defensive pass interference, number 28 of the defense.
More than 15?
Hold your spot.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll go 15.
Number 28.
5, 10, 15. Yeah, go 15. We're going 15.
Pass interference, defense, number 28. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot, and an automatic first down.
And part of the reason why they say 15 or more than 15 is they're saying, okay, in the UFL, if this pass interference is less than 15 yards, it's a spot foul. You can see Mayfield at the back of your screen. He's pulling on the receiver. If it's more than 15 yards, it'll be a 15-yard penalty, unless it's an intentional penalty 40 yards down the field or 15 plus, then it'll be a spot foul.
So it takes him out to the 23 and sets up first down for this Houston offense. 5 minutes into the opening quarter. On the ground, it's Pledger trying to break through on the edge, but couldn't against Jordan Mosley, second in the league in tackles out of Maryland.
As I'm watching this, and we heard in production meetings earlier this week, they said we want to be a right-handed team. We're going to have an extra offensive lineman on our right-handed side. That play was to the offense's right, yet it wasn't effective. I'm interested to see how this offense progresses if the running game isn't effective early on.
Well, they call that formation 12 Haskin, because Brandon Haskin is the extra offensive lineman in the game, and they wanted to try to run away from him by getting the defense misaligned.
He's 76. On second down, a throw that can't connect with Mark Thompson, so it brings up third down. And I'll ask you, Sam, with what you've seen from their offensive line on film, what do you expect from the Roughnecks offense?
Well, I expect the Roughnecks offense to be more of a run-first team. Their offensive line has struggled in pass protection. That's why you heard that Haskin call, number 76. He's an additional offensive lineman. And so as Cole and I are watching film and watching this, we're saying, okay, how will they attack? How will San Antonio attack the extra offensive lineman? And what will this new offense look like with Haskin at the extra line?
You saw lowest scoring offense in the UFL through 6 weeks. 4-man rush. Garantano steps up and rifles into coverage, incomplete. Was trying to find Kiki Chisholm, and it's fourth down.
Big time play defensively, and this is where this offense doesn't want to be. They don't want to be in a 3rd and 10, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8. They do not want to be 3rd and long, especially when your quarterback is coming off of injury and you know your pass rush, at least pass protection, has struggled. Great play on the defensive side of the ball, but offensively, if the running game is not effective for Houston, it may prove to be a long day.
Garantano back and heads off with his offense unable to solve what has been a very good San Antonio defense so far, 3rd in the league in scoring defense. Northwestern's Hunter Niswander gets it away to speedy Marquez Stevenson. Fields the hop at the 20, and the former Buffalo Bill stretches wide, got a block, and Stevenson around the edge takes it out to the 36. You listen in on Houston trying to solve things offensively. We got a player down on the field injured. We step aside inside of 8 to go in the first. Sewell, and it was a play along the near side, opposite where Marquez Stevenson ran, and it appeared that they were working on his left knee, and so his teammates come out to help him off.
You could see his entire team was standing on the sideline, even inching towards him. Gabe Sewell is one of the heartbeats, if you will, of this defense. You talk to some of the players, listen to them talk about him. They see him as one of their leaders. And so someone else will have to step up, but that's a huge loss for this Houston Roughnecks defense.
Injuries have hit this defense as well, with the likes of Toby Johnson, Reggie Walker, who's out for the year, elsewhere on the defensive line. And so one of the linebackers departs for C.J. Johnson here in the first. Well, we've got no score so far. San Antonio favored by 3.5, with Quentin Dormady at the controls. Gets it out quickly to John Lovett on the edge, lowers the shoulder to the 41 from Dormady, who is very familiar with the guy who goes up opposite, because these guys were in a quarterback room in Knoxville together. And actually in that season in 2017, They both started. Dormady got hurt early on. Garantano took over late in the year, then was the starter in 18 as Dormady transferred off to Houston, of all places.
And sometimes those rooms you compete and get better, but also sometimes you'll see these guys down the line, just like this.
Dormady back shoulder and a good one to Jontre Kirkland for a first down to the LSU Tiger.
Yeah, one of the most unguardable balls, especially if thrown on timing and without any pressure. Jontre Kirkland out of LSU played quarterback, played receiver, did it all, played on defense, and now he's doing it all in this league.
Pistol, red F swing, red F swing.
See the over-under for Jontre Kirkland's receiving yards today at 58.5. Seems like a wise one for the league leader in receptions. Dormady unloads with a deep ball into double coverage and too strong for KD Cannon.
Sacho, when it comes to Kirkland, talking to Darren Rizzi, special teams coordinator for the New Orleans Saints earlier, he really wants him back. He loves the person, loves the player, and I can promise you that man can play four core at the next level. Every special teams you need him to play on, he can do it, catch it, tote it, you name it, and throw it. He's an all-around value on a 53-man roster.
It was in camp with the Saints, got released, and showed up for this season in great shape. Second out from the 44 for the 4-2 Brahmas. And Dormady checks it down to Speedy Stevenson, who slips a tackle, jukes another, and Stevenson's got a first down for San Antonio after 11.
You're noticing they're attacking more of the middle of the field, at least on this last play. When an injury happens, all of a sudden offense says, where can we exploit? Middle of the field, no Sewell.
Y'all huddle up in the back. Y'all huddle up in the back.
Well, now Reuben Foster is down as well, the former Butkus Award winner at Alabama and first-round pick of the 49ers back in 2017. We've already talked about these Roughnecks injuries over the course of the season, and to two linebackers here in the first 9 minutes.
And two linebackers who have been extremely productive and effective for your defense. You talk about a defense that sometimes lacks discipline. They play hard but lack discipline. Those two guys are disciplined. Cole?
Well, I tell you what, talking to Eric Price about Reuben Foster, head coach of the Roughnecks in our meetings, it was so cool to hear him say, not a diva, has not come in with that former first-round draft pick mantra, handled himself with a lot of maturity. I tried to grab him, fellas, as Mike said, after that play behind the line of scrimmage on the first drive for San Antonio when he was in the backfield. I said, tell me what you saw, tell me what you see, how'd you diagnose it? He told me he read the back. He came over back and found me, and he said, guys, I got a lot of stuff to work on. I'm not where I need to be. I've been out of the game for a long time. I'm just trying to get better, just trying to get more reps. So that's that maturity already you're seeing there from Reuben Foster.
And even going back and watching that replay, it did not look good. I mean, this guy was out of football for 4 years, former first-round pick, 31st overall to the 49ers, Butkus Award winner, the best linebacker in all of college football. An injury hampered his career, and then he's coming back with this newfound joy, passion, charisma. And I'm hoping and praying that he's okay.
Yeah, it looked like Julian Davenport, Brahmas offensive lineman, with a ball maybe out at the end, came in and got him. John Lovett on the ground, searches on the right side, and a sure-handed tackle for nothing. Well defended by J.T. Tyler. Cole, a guy that you love.
He absolutely flies. When you put the film on, 33 pops at almost every level of this defense. And talking to Chris Wilson, the D coordinator, about him, smart, fun. It was funny, Chris Wilson said, he's got a Princeton degree, man. Why is he even out here? Guy loves football, though, and it shows by the way that he plays. And Sam probably going to play some more Mike linebacker now due to these injuries.
He's out there on second down for the Brahmas on a draw. This is Morgan Ellison with a seam up the middle, and the 230-pounder barrels to the 18 and picks up 16 on the ground.
Yeah, and even going back to J.T. Tyler, he led Princeton to their first undefeated season since 1964. During his time there, he was 35-5, a captain, three-time Ivy League champion. And so he's played that Sam linebacker position. He may be in there more for Mike now that there's been some injuries at linebacker.
You see him right in the middle. And Chris Wilson, the defensive coordinator, was allowed to say it because he said, I say the same thing to my son with a UCLA degree. Why do you want to get into coaching? From the red zone again, Dormady toward the sideline and incomplete. Intended for Justin Smith and well defended by Keandre Thomas out of K-State.
That's a great play by the defense, but look at Dormady. Go back to that timing. You saw the separation that Jontre Kirkland had. Justin Smith didn't have that same separation, but that's because of Thomas. Thomas played that route extremely tight. I had a coach that said, hey, if you're going to go up and press, get hands on them. Free access equals free yards.
Parts of 2 years in the NFL for Keandre Thomas. Second down, Dormady swings it out to Lovett, made the catch, and with a burst, runs out just shy of the 10, ushered out by J.T. Tyler, and now third down for A.J. Smith's offense.
Is it 33? 33. 34. Clover! Okay, here we go. Give me this. Strong left, fake Bronco slip, H reverse.
Fake Bronco
slip, H reverse.
Fake Broncos. Hurry up.
On third down, here's the reverse, and here's Speedy Stevenson. Lost the football! Houston's got another takeaway in the red zone. And how about these swings? Donald Rutledge emerges, and the Roughnecks in business again defensively.
And swings is the best way to put it. These are 2 series back-to-back where San Antonio's driven the length of the field, got to the red zone, and all of a sudden you see this reverse happen. Speedy Stevenson, no ball security, no ball control, great hit, and it's recovered. That's 2, 6, 12, maybe it's 16-point swings based off of a defense being stingy and taking the ball away.
And remember, Chris Wilson, the Houston DC, said to us this week, I'm looking for more takeaways. They practice it. He calls it attempts on balls.
Yeah, he started tracking them. He's been tracking that in practice. Every time you get a chance to attack the ball, that's how you take the ball away.
Roughnecks start at the 7 with Garantano and a flag down as they hand it off to TJ Pledger. And we will check the marker.
Defensive offside number 45, lined up in the neutral zone, 45.
5 yards from the previous.
Yep.
Offside, defense, 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Repeat, first down.
Delonte Scott just back from a shoulder injury. Trash talking all XFL player last year, now with Wade Phillips.
And I understand the excitement of Delonte Scott getting back to get more reps and also watching film and saying, I know I can beat these guys. But temper that excitement. You don't want to penalize your team.
So first down at 5, and Garantano throws the slant and got it complete across the middle to Cyril Grayson, the former track star at LSU, who didn't even play college football.
Yeah, he never played at LSU. Well, why? Because he was on a track scholarship, and there's a rule that said if you're on a track scholarship, or at least a scholarship for a minor sport, you're not allowed to play major sports. And so, though he wanted to play, they would not let him play, and all of a sudden he got an opportunity in the NFL, and now also the UFL.
Ends up catching passes from Tom Brady, part of a Bucs Super Bowl group a few years back. This is Pledger, and he gets hog-tied right around the neck at the 20 and stood up for a loss.
Yeah, going back to Cyril Grayson, actually played with him in Chicago. We were together in 2018, but this dude is a speedster. So we talked about it. He won multiple national championships, at least from when it comes to speed, set records. 4 NCAA championships, SEC championship, 7-time All-American. He was a football player in high school as well, but he was a national record holder in high school in track, and so decided to stick to track, but that dream stayed alive.
Eric Price said it was fast as heck. Second down and 11. Garantano under pressure. Steps up. Fires down the sideline and incomplete. He wanted the speedster Grayson again, and now it's third down.
Yeah, I was talking to Cyril on the field before the game. He said, man, I know who I am. And Coach C.J. Johnson, who coached him in New Orleans, he actually reminded me, I'm a speed guy, so use my speed to take the top of the defense. We saw it almost happen this time, but expect Cyril to be back behind defenses as this game progresses.
We got gun butts right, 22 paint, white fluidity on one. Ready? Here we go, 10 seconds, let's go.
Play clock winding down. Again, you hear these play calls from the quarterbacks. Now late in the first quarter. Garantano under pressure, and down he goes. Prince Emili out of Penn with the sack and a loss of 9 and 4th down.
Crown the Prince. This is what we've seen all season long from both teams. We've seen a great pass rush from San Antonio, but lack of pass protection when it comes to Houston. Great pass rush game up top. You saw it. It was an exit stunt. So the defensive end comes inside and picks the guard, and the defensive tackle loops around. Prince Emili looped around tight. They talked about it. Mark Lillibridge, the general manager, said he's one of the strongest dudes on our team, but he's also smart. He was smart enough to set up the offensive lineman, loop around tight, and finish the play.
We got some smarts all over the place on both sides, giving love to the Ivy League. Niswander got it away from his own 2 to Marquez Stevenson from the 42. Takes it out toward the logo and gets wrapped up at the 46. The UFL is brought to you by Progressive Insurance, the right call to protect your home and car. Visit progressive.com. Well, CJ Johnson leading this Houston team here in week 7. He's got a national championship from his days with the Canes at Miami and a Super Bowl with the Saints.
Yeah, he's a great dude. So when I was in Chicago with Cyril, CJ was there as well, and he was an offensive coach. But I have a love and affinity towards him because he has so much energy and so much passion. Even going back to Cyril Grayson, Cyril said, hey, I wasn't going to come back and play unless I was playing for Coach CJ. And so I think when it comes to players, he's a great motivator of athletes.
And he is happy to be here. We'll explain that later. Third drive for San Antonio, and Quentin Dormady checking it down, and a low and behind throw to John Lovett comes up empty on 1st down.
And we're seeing on both sides, Cole, I'm seeing a lot of pressure on both sides, but it seems a little bit different. What do you see from that Houston pass rush?
I'm seeing the defensive ends win first and foremost. They're having a lot of success against those Brahmas offensive tackles. Good news, however, for the Roughnecks defense. Reuben Foster back in. Scotty Patton got him in the tent, came out, put some kind of neoprene sleeve on that elbow. Foster now back. It looks like he's playing some Mike linebacker.
10 in blue is back for the Roughnecks, and that is great for them. They've got 2 takeaways already, and we are scoreless after the first.
We got to go with some different personnel groups. There'll be probably more of a safety playing linebacker also.
Obviously, the offense struggling to protect early on. What can you do to kind of get something going for Garantano?
Trying to get a run game established. If we can get a run game going a little bit, I think we can throw it a little bit more efficient. Got to start running the ball.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
That's CJ Johnson for his 1-5 Houston squad against San Antonio at 4-2 in pursuit of a playoff spot after they got some help around them here so far this weekend, and they've been moving the ball but haven't cashed in.
And you talk about this Houston team. Last week, yes, I get the record, 1-5. Last week, they held the #1 scoring offense. It was a 1-score game with a little over 3 minutes left in the game, so they can play. They have to play smart.
This is 2nd down to start the 2nd quarter, and across the middle, Speedy Stevenson lowers his head and takes it out toward the sticks, and Speedy Stevenson has a 1st down.
And that's what this first quarter has been. It's been San Antonio moving the ball, but attacks and shots on ball. That was Reuben Foster physically punching the football out. It's not a turnover, no. That's a dessert. It's a takeaway. They're pulling, stripping, reaching for the ball, and taking the ball away. It's been a huge discrepancy offensively, yardage-wise, but the score is still 0-0.
Proper nomenclature is necessary on turnovers versus takeaways, as Reuben Foster was headed off toward the sideline and then just went down for the Roughnecks, and Cole reported on it that he did come back in the game, but now slow to go off.
Yeah, you talk about that nomenclature. I was taught, and Reuben's taught this as well, from a defensive perspective, it's not a turnover, like, oh, it just fell away. No, I'm taking the ball. I'm physically taking it away, and that's what he did in college. That's what he did in the NFL. That's what he's done even in the USFL last year, the UFL this year. Now we're hoping he can stay healthy, right? He missed 4 years of football because of injury. So that's the opportunity that players get in this league, trying to stay healthy and make plays.
We got to make sure we give credit where credit is due for defensive players. Just getting started in the 2nd. Brahmas favored by 3.5. And you see the total just shy of 40. And no points yet. Dormady toward the sideline. Great catch by Landon Akers. went up the ladder, and he finally gets swung down at the 15, and he rises up for 29 yards.
Landon Akers is a Super Bowl winning player. And that was a Super Bowl winning play. They call that the sail route. Supposed to get back to the outside. Well, the defender felt like he knew what was coming. Landon Akers is a savvy route runner. We talked about it earlier. And so he leaned inside without using his arms. Offensive pass interference didn't do that. He got his body back outside, and that's trust by Dormady. Back to your receiver.
Sail route because it's shaped like that?
I believe so, but I'm a defensive player, so some of the offensive calls I don't always rock with.
Love it, left side, and he tiptoes out of bounds inside the 10. And yet again, San Antonio inside the red zone, but two takeaways from the Roughnecks
left, White, Y will. Hum to trace left, White, Y will.
Second and 1.
Let's finish.
Yeah, no, we're good, coach.
Hum to trace left, White, Y wheel. On Moon, ready?
Heard Wade Phillips, the head coach, chime in, saying it was 2nd and 1. 2nd down and 3 for this Brahmas offense. Stevenson in motion. Dormady to the air, scanning and rolling. Dormady will float it and just get rid of it to bring up 3rd down.
I know, and Cole, I'm going to go to you on this one because I know it felt like he had a lot of time, but as a defensive player, I saw Chris Odom still putting pressure on the quarterback. What did you see?
Well, when you get through your progressions and you try to buy a little extra time, as some folks say, I don't think anybody ever buys time in the pocket. They're actually provided that time by the offensive line. Nonetheless, you get away from those progressions and then it becomes scramble drill. You got to get rid of that football. Actually, a good play there towards the end to go ahead and throw it away, but that was just scramble drill, trying to kind of wait and see if somebody were to get open.
Chris Odom, by the way, mic'd up today. 3rd down. Dormady, end zone, tight coverage, and bat it away. Marvin Moody broke it up, and it's 4th down for the Brahmas.
People talk about defense winning championships. Look at Marvin Moody. Look at his eyes right there. He's sliding towards the quarterback's eyes. Then he elevates and gets that PBU. Why does that matter? 3 red zone trips. So far, 0 touchdowns. And if this field goal does go through, 3 red zone trips, 3 points, that's huge positivity for defense.
Roughnecks would take that any day. Ryan Santoso comes out and tries from 26. Signed after week 2 to take over for the famous Destroying, who unfortunately suffered the fractured neck. And Santoso delivers here on this Mother's Day in Houston in the UFL.
And we weren't able to do it. We should have called timeout. That's on coaching. But as far as the players and the fumbles, we just got to be tougher than they are and finish.
Thanks, AJ. All right, Mike.
I mean, they've run 21 plays. 15 of them have been in their opponent's territory, yet they just have 3 points.
And you can sense and feel and see the frustration from offensive coordinator A.J. Smith. He is an offensive guru, an offensive mind, yet he's seeing his plays not work, whether it's because of player issues or defense issues.
Quinn Dormady talks things over with his wide receivers as Ryan Santoso gets it away. And if you had the under, you're feeling really good right now early on in the 2nd. Reggie Roberson out of SMU got stood up at the 25 by Robert Barnes. There's a flag down, and we will check the
Hold
marker.
that spot, yep. What you got, Ron?
During the return, number 58 of the receiving team, blindside block.
58 during the return of the receiving team, so we're going to go 15 yards back from the end of the play because your flag's up there.
During the return, personal foul, illegal blindside block. Receiving team, number 58. 15-yard penalty from the end of the play. Really 1st down.
That's defensive end Adam Rodriguez, who's chatting with his head coach, C.J. Johnson.
Yeah, and you see Rodriguez. It's really off of your screen, but it's an illegal block. And so the 15 yards is fully enforced in the UFL because of the rules. Every foul up to the 2-yard line is going to be fully enforced. No more half the distance. They want the full effect of the penalty, which is an even bigger deal when it comes to the special teams field position.
And field position hasn't been kind to Houston. They have started at the 4, the 7, and now the 10. They've got a total of 5 yards compared to 154 for San Antonio. There's a flag down as Mark Thompson goes tumbling past the 15. Wrapped up by Jordan Mosley
Defensive
after 8.
offside, number 8, lined up in the neutral zone.
Find out if they want to take it. It's offside, so we're going to go from the previous spot, so it'll be 1st and 5.
Offside, defense, number 8. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Repeat first down.
They prefer 1st and 5 to 2nd and 2 or so. And here's the chess match on both sides.
Definitely a chess match, but C.J. Johnson had so much respect for Wade Phillips. Talking to him before the game, he said, man, this is one of the gurus in the game. I have a lot of respect for him. Wants to beat him, though, still, of course.
Trying to get win number 2 this year. Thompson on the ground with a stiff arm, and he gets dragged down by Jalen Dalton out of UNC.
Gun flank right, 13-week, kill 384 Raider. Gun flank right, 13-week, kill 384 Raider. Dang it. Lost yards.
Frustration from Eric Price, the OC, coached 7 years in the NFL and 4 college stops as well as an offensive coordinator. Second down for Jarrett Garantano, gives it to Mark Thompson, spins away from a tackler and then swarmed by Jordan Mosley and company for no gain, and now 3rd down.
And you say that almost flippantly, swarm for no gain, but for this offense, Mike, this is a huge deal. Cole will tell you, the offensive line is getting pushed around. Now you're in a 3rd and long again, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9. You are not a pass-first team. Though the score is in your favor, technically, you're not happy about this lack of production in the run game.
Got to find a way to unpopulate that box. You're running into bad numbers, Acho. That's a big problem.
They're averaging, Cole, a ½ yard per carry here into the 2nd quarter. And on 3rd down, Garantano across the middle. He's got a completion for a 1st down to Anthony Ratliff Williams, the former Tar Heel who was a high school quarterback, picks up 15.
One of the ways that you can unpopulate that box is by spreading the ball out more. I understand that you want to run the ball more, but sometimes a 1st down shot, we call it earned 1st down. On an earned 1st down, take a shot, could open things up.
Would you like to see that here from Houston?
Absolutely. You know, the defense knows your weaknesses, and you know your weaknesses as well. It's been in pass protection, but still, play action shot could give you a lot of production.
Bring in a heavy formation and stick it in the belly of TJ Pledger. And again, not much there. Just 2 yards for the former Oklahoma and Utah running back.
Here we go. Huddle, 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 huddle. 30-12. We have gun flood right slot. 13 Z jet sweep Y and F arc on 1. Ready? Lead. Lead. No.
Side
right
left.
side. Ready.
Garantano and Tavante Beckett, top 5 in the league in tackles, is mic'd up today. It's a flip on 2nd down and a turn up field for Justin Hall, who we haven't called his name yet, but he is one of their best playmakers. He got 5 and it's 3rd down.
And one of their most targeted players on the team. So now we go back to it, 3rd and short, 3rd and 3 and less. Most teams like to run the ball in this situation. You would think that Houston would as well. Cole, if you're Houston, what are you doing offensively?
Well, based on the block that TJ Pledger just threw, I might give him the ball just to reward him for that one.
I saw that block. That was nasty.
Yeah, that popped off the screen at 5'8", $196 from your running back. Hall's got work to do on that receiving yards prop bet, but it does go as a pass. And now 3rd down and 3. Pressure comes. Garantano steps up and nowhere to go. Brought down for a sack by Tavante Beckett and company, and it's 4th down.
And that's partially on quarterback, partially on coverage. But that was a 7-man protection, it looked like. And so
what? You gotta go. You let him go. You gotta let him go. You gotta go. You guys ran into each other. You gotta let him go. You gotta let him go. Yeah.
You hear C.J. Johnson talking. I paused so we could hear him. Why? He was a former receivers coach, so he understands the receiver position, talking to the players about here's how you run our routes properly.
And it was a 2nd sack on a 3rd down from the Brahmas defense. And Nicewander's punt takes a Houston hop to the 25.
You see all the protection and the time. You see the receivers here. They're not running the right routes. Tavante Beckett brings them down. Big-time play, San Antonio.
Mike, the ESPN Bet live line right now has San Antonio -4.5. I liked him on the opening line at 3.5. I love him right now at 4.5, especially with the injuries to the linebacking core with Houston.
Does that make sense to you, Sam?
Well, no, that doesn't make sense to me because I would have thought with San Antonio's offensive struggles, at least the turnovers, it wouldn't have gone in that direction.
So they're trusting the process of all the yards, even though Houston's got those takeaways. San Antonio -260 to win. Houston at +200. Brahmas at 7.3 yards per play offensively. This will hurt that. John Lovett for no gain on the ground. The over-under for John Lovett, we told you off the top, was 58.5 rushing yards for a guy who went for 153 on 23 totes last week. The week before that against Arlington, 95 yards and 2 scores on the ground.
Currently, he's at 12.
Work to do. From the 25, Dormady steps up and scrambles and goes diving down past the 31. Got wrapped up by Ethan Westbrooks after 6, and it's 3rd down.
Fitzy, I heard you took the over in the pregame. How are we feeling about that now, Fitzy?
A lot of ball left here, Sacho. A lot of ball left, man. Appreciate you pointing that out. Thank you.
You don't sound too confident, my friend. I know you a little better than a lot of ball left.
Fitzy, not necessarily the biggest player, prop guy. He likes to stay in his lane with the lines and the totals. Another 3rd down. Brahmas are 0 for 2 on him today. There's a flag down. Dormady sideline incomplete. He wanted Stevenson.
Shift.
And there was tight coverage from Cornelder.
He never got set then.
5 started this motion after someone was going down in the 3-point, and then 5 started.
Gotcha.
Illegal shift, offense. Player was in motion before the line was set. The penalty is declined. Result of the play is 4th down.
So I don't sense it, Mike. I see it, the frustration. This offense has been one of the more potent offenses in the United Football League. We heard from A.J. Smith before the game. He said, man, I want to throw it for 400. They're moving the ball at times and then turning it over, and then at times they're not moving the ball. Got to give some kudos and shout out to the Houston Roughnecks and their defense for slowing down the San Antonio offense.
Led by DC Chris Wilson, who was part of the Eagles staff in 2018 that won the Super Bowl, and you've liked a lot of patches of their defense this season.
Oh, they've been a lot of fun to watch. That's the thing. You look at the record, and sometimes you look at certain plays, you're saying, man, what's going on? But the bigger picture, you're saying, man, this defense, they can hunt.
Brad Wing got it away to Justin Hall, a courageous return man, according to his head coach, and he will duck down at the 20 for Houston. Week 8 is coming next weekend in the UFL, and it looks like this. Saturday, Memphis and Michigan at 4 on Fox, followed by 7-0 Birmingham against Houston on ESPN2 at 8. And then Sunday, ABC, really big game between DC and St. Louis in the XFL Conference, and then Fox follows with Arlington and San Antonio. We know we have one playoff spot of the 4 in this league settled with that 7-0 Birmingham Stallions team led by longtime college head coach Skip Holtz.
Right there.
Houston trying to get its personnel right ahead of 1st down. It's the best starting field position they've had so far. Garantano to the air, and it's a slant and a 1st down to Cyril Grayson for 14.
Why does a play like that work? The reason why is that you've been running the ball. Now all of a sudden, 1st down, you pass it. Both Tavante Beckett and Jordan Williams, they slid up a little bit. All of a sudden, the window's open behind.
13-week split on one. Ready? Fin right off, block.
So whether it's an earned 1st down or maybe we call it P and 10, the beginning of a series, those 1st down passes can open up defenses.
You had called for it earlier, and Garantano and Eric Price deliver. Now they go on the ground with TJ Pledger hopping through the middle for 5 to the 40. And that makes everything more manageable for this offense.
It does. They don't want to be in long down and distances. And you think, okay, we got to run the ball. But the other teams, you can find ways, whether it's by screens or getting the ball outside, or maybe it's a play action like we saw there. That's what this offense wants to be with Garantano back at QB.
Brahmas showing blitz on second down. And might have been a false start on the left side of the offensive line.
74, okay.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense number 74. 5-yard penalty, remains second down.
So, Cole, when you're in a situation like this, defensively, I say, hey, it's 2nd and 10. Almost automatic pass for the most part. What are you thinking offensively when you get backed up in a situation like this?
Well, you're thinking about your pass rush moves, and so you're trying to think about what your set is going to be. Usually going to be based on alignment. So if he's lined up a little bit wider, obviously you want to set for more speed. If he's tighter, you're thinking inside move. So a little bit of a short step or a post. Keep it nice, quick, and tight.
Second down and 10, and it's a draw to Pledger. Searches the right side and trucks forward and gets back 7.
And back to your point, I was watching the offensive linemen. They had pass set stances, so I'm thinking pass, but that's great play calling by the offensive coordinator, because as a defense, you're thinking it's 2nd and 10, go get the quarterback. Just like Cole said earlier, no, throw him upfield, and then we'll get big-time gains on our draws.
Yeah, you're making that jet call on that play, weren't you, Acho?
Absolutely. Go, go, go. I'm thinking about my pass rush move, thinking about what I'm going to do to win, thinking about the tape I watched.
Eric Price against first-year defensive coordinator Will Reed, longtime great college coach. On third down, Garantano under pressure, and he got it away to Kiki Chisholm to move the sticks and vault into plus territory after 13 to the former Mizzou Tiger.
Yeah, the former 6'4", well, still 6'4" Mizzou Tiger. Kiki Chisholm is a big-time body, and so he's 6'4", former basketball player. Both his parents played basketball, but this time he said, I want to go on the football route. And so you're seeing that big body get open across the middle. It's an easy target for your quarterback.
You also saw that toughness there from Garantano, something that he showed a lot during his college career.
Fresh set of downs, back to the air, and incomplete for Chisholm. Yeah, Cole, you talk about that with his toughness. You saw it at about the highest level you've ever seen for a quarterback's toughness.
He had Alabama at home one year in Neyland Stadium, and I'm going through the film, and I promise you guys, I've never seen a quarterback take a bigger beating in my life. I mean, just guys getting 7 and 6 and 5-yard running starts, absolutely not being touched. He's just getting driven into the ground. Actually, Reuben Foster might have been on that defense. And he just kept getting up, taking the snap, throwing balls down the field. Toughness never going to be a concern for Jared Garantano.
5 years at Tennessee, 1 year at Washington State. He rolls and tries to get rid of it as he was under pressure from Wyatt Ray. Third down.
And going back to Garantano, you said toughness matters. Well, the reason it matters is that oftentimes as a quarterback continues to get hit, you may not be as courageous to step up in the pocket. You may short arm some throws. He doesn't do that, and that's the point you're making, Cole. I appreciate you pointing that out. Because as a defensive guy, I'm like, hit, hit, hit.
You could feel that, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Sets up a big third down and 10 for Houston, finally in plus territory. And we hit the 2-minute warning here in Houston. Not a lot of points. You're happy if you had the under.
Boy, hey, who you got? Who we got? Because 51 holding this shit now.
Gotta love it from Tavante Beckett, part of a linebacker group that they might be undersized, but these guys fly around for the Brahmas.
And that's the best way to put it. We were talking to defensive coordinator Will Reed. He said, man, when they have these yellow jerseys on, sometimes this defense looks like bumblebees. They're always chasing after the ball, swarming to the football. That's what you want to see when you're a defense.
Out of Marshall, Tavante Beckett for Will Reed. Well, back here in Houston, headed toward halftime, a big third down for the Roughnecks on the move. And trying to get Garrett Nelson to jump first, and there's pointing back and forth.
False start. Offense, number 51. 5-yard penalty. Remains third down.
Well, Tavante Beckett had called out 51, and it's Natai Rogers out of Houston who jumped.
And there's been room for growth for Natai Rogers, specifically on that right side of the line. Why are you jumping? Well, because you got beat last week on speed rushes. You know Nelson can rush the quarterback. You're trying to get out early and quick, but you're getting out too early, too quick, now third and ultra long.
Also keep in mind, guys, new quarterback, that changes the cadence just a little bit. So first game back for Garantano.
Well, it's 3rd and 15 now, Cole, for the Roughnecks from midfield. Flag down, Garantano stops and starts, trying to create anything, and he dives forward for about 3 yards, and it might be holding on to Ty Rogers.
Did the clock run?
Yeah. Clock is good. Clock is good. You stop it.
Holding. Offense, number 51. The penalty is declined. Result of the play is 4th down.
They're getting Rogers on that call again. I actually don't love this holding call. And so you see Nelson spin in, and I get it, but Nelson's a little bit off balance. And so I don't love that call. Cole, what do you think about that call?
You're not keeping him from disengaging. And that's the way that I always like to view holding, is if you are preventing a defensive lineman from disengaging to go make the play, then yes, absolutely. And as you stated, Acho, I just didn't see it on that play.
Well, so it sets up 4th down, and Houston's most promising drive ends at midfield. Niswander with a good punt that bounces into the end zone past Stevenson. And they're going to say that they got to it first and mark it down at the 1.
Great special teams play. Dean, you heard Cole and I talking about that offensive holding call. What do you see on a play like that? Would you consider that holding? If they would have challenged, would it have been overturned?
Well, we talk about blocking the frame presented. The defender put himself in that position, and the blocker's blocking that frame, and really he doesn't restrict him from getting out to the ball carrier. In that case, it was the quarterback. So we weren't, if they had challenged it, it would have been an interesting decision. I don't like it as holding.
And I love how you said it would have been an interesting decision. So every team has an ability to challenge breakaway.
We got to look at this.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he needs to look at this punt because it did hop into the end zone. But they're saying that Reggie Roberson kept it out. I thought it went in on my first line.
They are picking me up, but I made an announcement. We'll wait here for it. Yeah, that's right. You're right.
Yeah, go ahead, pull it up.
So, Glenn, you did not have it touching the goal line.
Correct. I did not have it touching the goal line, nor the player touching the goal line.
That right there is touching the goal line. Yeah.
Okay, so and Joe's
right
telling me the same thing. Neither the ball nor the player touched the goal in the end zone. Goal line or in the end zone.
I just want to see what the clock was.
That's what they had ruled.
When it hits. Okay. All right, Jason, we do have the ball touching the goal line.
Okay.
So we're going to make it a touchback, and there's 1:43 on the clock at that point.
Okay, got it. So touchback, 25-yard line. They can pick which lateral position, and 1:43 on the clock.
Correct.
Gotcha.
After video review, the ruling is the ball did touch in the end zone. Therefore, the ruling is a touchback. The ball had placed at the 25-yard line. Please reset the game clock to 1 minute, 43 seconds. 1-3.
In a 3-0 game, a touchback like that, that's life or death right now. That's a massive swing.
Well, it takes the ball from the 1-yard line to the 25-yard line. In the UFL, any touchback comes out to the 25-yard line. And it takes an offense that has been struggling early. It gives them a little bit more life.
So Quentin Dormady starts out headed toward halftime by zipping one up the seam for Landon Akers again. Rising up and hanging on for the Brahmas in the 2-minute drill.
And every defense has a weak spot. A.J. Smith saw the weak spot in his cover 4 defense right in that hole.
Blue check, Frisco. Ready, go.
4-man rush, and Dormady steps up in the pocket and pushes the pile for a yard for this San Antonio offense as Keontae Shad wrapped him up.
Hey, Mike, Sam, Landon Akers just went into the injury tent, and looking at him talking to the trainers, looks like a concussion.
That's a big blow after Akers got hit at the end of that gain of nearly 20. He's got 3 grabs for 72 yards here in this first half. Let's listen in on Quentin Dormady.
Make that again, 2nd and 9. Hey, let's go Nebraska, tighten Nebraska, look for the honey hole. If it ends up being quarters, Justin Smith will be ready for Z. No! Hey, and if you're in on that, run like hell. Run the smoke Z cut.
Tight, red F swing. Tight, red F swing, Nebraska.
What's the formation?
Tight, tight.
Do what you do, Q.
Red, tight, regular.
So we talked about, you heard A.J. Smith say, look for the honey hole. What does that mean? In a cover 2 defense, if you're pressing up, if the corner's pressing up, there's going to be a sweet spot, a honey hole between the corner and the safety. That's what they're looking for. And if it's available, if it's cover 2, that's where Dormady's going to get it to.
It's like Fitz at the breakfast spread pregame at the hotel. Just try to find that right omelet mix. Pressure comes on Dormady, gets it away to Lovett, but incomplete. And now it's 3rd down for the Brahmas with 1:20 to go until halftime.
And why does a play like that work? Just going back to the schematics, so it looked like a cover 3 or maybe cover 1 at first. And upon the snap, because there was 1 safety deep, when the ball was snapped, they shifted, and so all of a sudden it went to 2 deep. And so Dormady has to be able to evaluate that. Their defensive coordinator said, hey, we want him to be confused post-snap.
Former Central Michigan quarterback as well is just 1 for his last 5. And now on 3rd down, Quentin Dormady takes a shot for Stevenson, incomplete. Threw into coverage downfield, and now it's 4th down with Jimmy Moreland stride for stride.
Talk about giving credit to where credit is due. I've been sitting here even in the break, I'm saying, man, why is San Antonio struggling and what's going on? I mean, you have to give credit to the defense of Houston. What they're doing is they're changing the coverage. When you watch them back, when they get the ball back on defense at least, watch their safeties. You're seeing 2 high before the snap, rolling to 1 high, seeing 1 high, going to 2 high. It's muddying the look for Dormady, which is extremely effective for that Houston Roughnecks defense.
Longtime NFL punter Brad Wing gets one away and definitively a touchback. C.J. Johnson's defense has been stout in the first half.
Whatever we think to get us a nice little couple play drive, and because it's just 3 points, and the defense been bending but not breaking. You know what I mean?
Saying bend but don't break. That is a reality. You can bend. I don't mind giving up yards as long as I'm not giving up points. So we've seen Houston give up yards. When it comes to the point total, they're being dominant, dare I say elite, in the red zone. And so that's the biggest thing that stands out to me. I got to give a shout out to Chris Wilson, the defensive coordinator, who did exactly what the plan was. He said, I want to change and muddy the look for Quentin Dormady. We know that he has a propensity to have some turnovers. Let's make it confusing. Didn't start the season as a starting quarterback. Let's make it hard on this backup.
Well, Houston did start this drive from its 25 with 1:06 to go in all 3 timeouts. They ran it, soaked a bunch of seconds, and now throw it, and nearly an interception, but somehow Anthony Ratliff-Williams makes the catch just shy of the 35.
And that's just say want to. I thought that was picked off. Say nearly intercepted. I believe, and maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, but Darius Phillips, who's their best DB, is out. He may have picked that off. He's done it earlier in the season.
And so now back to the ground on 3rd down for a 1st down out to the 36 with 17 seconds to go.
Smart play. The clock stopped within 2 minutes.
Like
the clock will stop.
Over the middle, or dagger. Something over the middle. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how you're going to get a chunk.
Yeah.
What you want?
You want to go rapper? Yeah, I like rapper. Let's go empty left.
Go ahead.
Personnel. Go.
10 or 11. 10. Hey.
Empty left.
Maybe to the single something to him.
Cole, these play calls and the clock management, anything surprise you?
Well, there has been some confusion with this Houston offense. You saw him not have a receiver on a little bit earlier. I do feel like Jared's having to repeat himself just a little bit more, but that goes back to the level of comfort from not being in the last few games.
They've got it out to the 37 and a first down here. 2 timeouts left and 17 seconds to work with. Jared Garantano takes a deep shot for Hall. Downfield, and he hung on to it. To the 21, and he got blasted. 9 seconds to go until halftime.
Mama, there goes that man. Hey, I don't know too much to say. This is the most time that I've seen the quarterback have. You saw the pump, saw the double move by Hall, and he focuses on the ball, not only has the reception, but accepts the contact, and then has the wherewithal to call the timeout. Brilliant play, brilliant route, great ball by Garantano.
And how about Justin Hall, the 5'8" slot wideout out of Ball State, who, when we asked C.J. Johnson for the best NFL prospects on this team, he mentioned Justin Hall and said he's electric and reminds me, he said, of Eddie Royal.
And a guy that he coached in Chicago, a guy I played with in Chicago, a guy who had a long NFL career. And so that's a great comparison, but now's the time. Crunch time, red zone, you need to show up. So Hall, great opportunity.
So you got 9 seconds. You got 1 timeout. San Antonio had 2 to use. Let's listen in again with C.J. Johnson.
I'm gonna run down there. Yeah, that's all I'm saying. Because I can't. I'm not as fast as I used to be.
I know, I got you.
I get shots in my knee every week. But look.
So you got to square things away with the officials because, yeah, you don't have the same speed you used to when you're in your 60s.
I like how she confirmed it and said, yeah, I know.
Okay, we're looking
held
at it.
number 50. The right tackle's 51. 51 held. Okay. Held number 8. I got you. I mixed up 50 and 8. They're looking at it now.
He's got the left arm, but I don't see a ton of restriction. He's working through it.
He looped under, didn't he?
Yeah, he's looping under.
He looped under that play. Number 8 came underneath that play.
I'm looking at the sky cam. He's tried to keep his feet get beat, but he keeps them moving. I just don't see enough of a restriction here that this is holding. I'm going to take one more look.
Dean, I can't hear you if you're talking.
Yeah, no, I'm talking, but I'm not talking to you.
Okay. They're talking.
Looking at the opposite end zone. No. All right, after review, the ruling on the field stands. There's just not a material restriction there for holding.
It's going to stand.
Correct.
It's going to stand. Okay.
Review, the ruling on the field stands. There is no foul. Result of play is a first down.
So if you're new to the UFL, each team gets 1 challenge per game. You have to have a timeout to use it, and you can challenge a penalty that was called, or in this case, wasn't called, and Wade Phillips elects to use it there.
And he goes out of character. We talked to Wade Phillips earlier in the season. He says he wants to save his challenges for the 4th quarter, save them when there's either less than 5 minutes left or the game's in balance. I understand why he would do it now. That's the biggest play of the game, the longest yardage play, but a little bit out of character for Wade.
So again, can't challenge as you see the rest of the game. 41 yards to Hall, and now Garantano had the ball come out. Houston appears to have fallen on it with Braylon Jones. As the clock strikes 0 and Delonte Scott brought the heat on Garantano.
You said Houston had the ball on the ground, so they've got the ball down on the ground. And then it was taken around once he was down, though. Okay. So, but time expired during the play because it was a running play? So it's a fumble? Okay. Okay. Okay.
We have a timeout.
Okay, did we have a timeout called on that sideline? Okay, and then what was the time on the clock when that happened?
It'd be 3.
3 seconds? Sounds good. Okay.
Ruling is a fumble recovered by the offense. While on the ground, timeout was called by Houston with 3 seconds remaining. That is the 3rd and final timeout of the half.
So first things first, ruled a fumble and not an incomplete pass, and then they're granting the timeout with 3 seconds left.
And I would say first things first. Look at that pass rush by Delonte Scott. That's just a chop. We call it a chop club, right? He chopped the outside arm of the offensive tackle and leans and gets the ball out. Don't just get a sack. Take the ball as well. That's a sack and a fumble. Great recovery by the offense because this 3 points could prove monumental when it comes all the way down to it.
So far, this has matched the lowest scoring first half we've had in the UFL all season. But J.J. Molson is going to try to change that and add to the total on an attempt from 48. 27-year-old out of UCLA, an 8th-generation descendant of the Molson family, North America's oldest brewery from the 1700s.
I thought you were going to say an 8th-generation kicker. I was like, wow, respect.
For the brand with Molson on its way. And cheers to J.J. Molson. He's good from 48, and we are tied at halftime in a game where the Brahmas were favored, and the over-under total was 38.5.
And if I'm Houston, if I'm the Roughnecks, I couldn't be happier about the way this half has gone, both offensively and defensively. You're saying, Sam, offensively, you got nothing going. No, that's a huge play by Justin Hall. And if I'm San Antonio...
Opened Brahmas favored by 3.5. Over-under total closed at 38.5. And the live total, 23.5, because we've got just field goal on each side. Reggie Roberson gets swung down at the 30. And that's where Jared Garantano and the Roughnecks will start.
Talk about, you know, the last 2 minutes or 4 minutes of the first half, and then the first 4 minutes of the second half. This is when momentum swings the most in most games. So you got that late score. If you can get that momentum early, all of a sudden you feel the weight shifting in your favor.
That doesn't sound good. From Jared Garantano talking about his wrist. He's still out there, but he doesn't throw. He gives it to Mark Thompson, the 235-pounder with NFL time with 4 different teams for 4 yards.
Doesn't sound good from an offensive game plan perspective either.
If you're just joining us, that's the former Tennessee Vol, Jared Garantano, just back this week for the first time in more than a month from injury. Was out with a rib injury, suffered in week 2. Remember, he got stripped on that fumble right at the end of the first half. Garantano rifles across the middle, and that got dropped by one of his tight ends, Braden Bowman, the former Jet, and now it's 3rd down.
Well, Mike, I can tell you guys, he was sort of favoring that wrist, walking around, taking a look at it as this team came out of the locker room. Didn't hear anything else about it, but you just heard right there, said he thinks he broke it, and still trying to give it a go.
52, Z-snag, H-choice on 1, ready?
And you can even see the way he threw that ball, that last play, it looked like he was pushing it rather than throwing it, and now you see him holding onto that wrist.
Some tape on it as well. 3rd down. Garantano steps up, tries to escape. He's holding it in his left hand, and he goes down. Inside of the 30, wrapped up by Wyatt Ray, and it's 4th down.
You see the pass rush getting towards the quarterback. Well, why does that happen? If you have an injury, you may not be as excited to throw the ball. And so you see him, he's looking down the field, he feels the pressure. You want to protect that injury. Why? Okay, boom. So you switch hands, put it in your left. You're trying to stiff arm with that injured wrist. May not be the best idea.
Trying to hang on to his opportunity here in the UFL. Marquez Stevenson takes it out of bounds at the 33 for the Brahmas in a 3-3 game.
Talk about hanging on to opportunities. Some people might at home may be saying, okay, if you're injured and it's your throwing arm, or maybe it's not, why are you staying in the game? Well, Garantano's been out since week 2. He's been itching to get back. Remember, him and Dormady competed for a starting spot in college, and all of a sudden he's like, I got my chance, I have to stay in the game.
He and Quentin Dormady know all about it. Dormady in 2017 in a quarterback room with Garantano, a shoulder injury at the beginning of that season. Now Dormady operates, and he throws it behind John Lovett, and that's ruled an incomplete pass on the swing to the top running back in the league.
You can hear them saying, pick it up, pick it up. Any question marks defensively, get the ball if it's ever on the ground. Because it could have been a lateral, you never know.
And Houston is hungry for more turnovers, you know. Dormady's 1 for his last 7. Quick release and dropped by Smith. Diving bid in the passing lane as well from JT Tyler.
Man, I love that drop by JT Tyler. I was smiling and grinning from ear to ear. He's a curl flat player, and so sometimes you do these drills, you try and get under the out route, and they never throw the out route. Well, now they threw the out route. So JT Tyler using that Princeton education. Mind you, he turned down Harvard to go to Princeton, and so he's using his education saying, I know they don't always throw it, but this time I'm gonna get under it.
All over it, and now 3rd down for the Brahmas with pressure coming. And Dormady goes down. Ball is out, and who's got it? Houston's got another takeaway. Chris Odom brought the heat and popped it free from Quentin Dormady.
Come on, baby. Come on.
They say that speed kills, and sometimes I don't like sayings like that, but look at Chris Odom at the top of your screen. He's just gonna run around the offensive tackle. Mind you, a backup offensive tackle. He goes with that chop move, and then he goes and attacks the football. Chris Odom was the USL Defensive Player of the Year in 2022 with the Philadelphia Stars. His dad played 13 years in the NFL, but he doesn't do it for the money or the fame. He does it for his daughter. His daughter, Cassidy Lynn Odom, is his why. And I think Cole has some more on that.
Chris, tell us how you got home on that pass rush.
Just all about just execution, winning my rush. At that point, it was just finishing, just get to the ball.
Sam just said you do this for your daughter. I had a chance to meet that little angel before this game. Tell the viewers about her.
My daughter, Cassidy Lynn, 3 years old. She has brittle bone disease, osteogenesis imperfecta. Ever since she came into this world, she's always been my motivation just to do better and just provide the best life I can for her.
So awesome, man. Congratulations. Good job.
Thank you.
How special is that? A guy who has been in the NFL before, you see, with the Packers and Commanders. And for his daughter, afflicted with that, pursuing a dream for both of them.
He said his daughter meets him at home every time he gets to the door. She comes to the door and he says, man, with osteogenesis imperfecta, you could get injured from changing a diaper, get injured from all these different things, yet you're still here. He admires her.
2nd down, he has set up this offense with Garantano throwing for Chisholm, and too tall with Gavin Heslop, the 6-foot corner from Stony Brook in coverage.
We talk about Chris Odom and talk about his story. I was talking to him on the field and I was saying, hey man, your why and your daughter. He said, nah, there's another dude who has that same, who has osteogenesis imperfecta as well. A 12-year-old boy named Noah, who said, you got to go say hi to him. Noah wants to be a broadcaster, and Cole and I got a chance to take a picture with Noah earlier. But it just gives credit to Chris Odom for shining a light on an issue he cares about.
Amazing stuff from Chris Odom. And now big 3rd down for his offense, and Garantano steps up with that bum wrist. He's on the move, goes diving, and appears to have enough. They mark him at the 15, and it's a 1st down with the legs for Jarrett Garantano.
Sometimes the plan goes better than planned. Jarrett Garantano was put back in this quarterback lineup in order to use his legs more, and that's exactly what he did. Wrist might be bum, but the legs still running.
He continues to grab at that wrist, but clinging to his football opportunity as well. Into the red zone, here's Mark Thompson. Goes tumbling down. He was battling a knee sprain at the outset of the season and missed 3 weeks, so they've been waiting for him to erupt.
And they have been, and I'm interested in the perspective of this quarterback is injured. But there's a difference between being injured and hurt.
Yeah.
He's playing through a lot. And I think that helps really your entire offense of saying, okay, man, if he's going to play through injury, I can as well.
It matters so much to Garantano. Remember, he said during week 1 he was tearing up during the national anthem because it's been so long since I've played ball and been the guy. On the ground again, this time it's TJ Pledger, who wiggles through just inside the 10. And now 3rd down and medium coming for the Roughnecks in the red zone.
Yeah, this opportunity, Mike, to your point, so many players are excited about an opportunity to play football again. You see that hunger, you see the eagerness to get back out there, and he's taking advantage of it.
We got gun flex right, FPL 22, X-fade on one, right?
The verbiage from Jared Garantano, toughing it out in week 7 in the UFL against a potential playoff team. Garantano gets rid of it, and a low throw is hauled in by Justin Hall. He's got a 1st down to the 4.
Justin Hall is the most trusted receiver on this football team. He's their go-to guy. So you turn on the tape. When it's a critical down, you go to Justin Hall. He's usually in the slot, not the biggest guy. Notice he's waiting, he's patient. He could have slid over, but he sensed that safety coming downhill, so he stopped and he stood still. Garantano got it to him away from the defender.
More than 300 catches for him at Ball State. And now flags fly pre-snap.
False start. Offense number 74. 5-yard penalty. Remains 1st down.
That's Avery Janessi, who's probably been their best offensive lineman this year.
We got 1 down.
Brahmas player, yeah, still down on the field, and CJ Johnson spotted it as well. So we'll step aside as well. It's Gavin Heslop, the corner. We step aside with the Roughnecks on the move against the Brahmas.
No.
The big plays of this 3rd quarter so far, Jared Garantano with the scramble on 3rd down after the big play from Chris Odom, the defensive end.
F jet sweep, Z jet sweep lead. Stay in a huddle. All right, bro, I need you on this play. Oh, my bad.
Go straight down. I'm gonna get tight to.
Here we go. On one, ready?
If you're a quarterback, you want to have command of the huddle, but you don't want to say it too loud.
I don't think they're saying we're listening. It's saying the defense is listening.
Yeah, we're allowed to. 1st and goal, and out of the shotgun, Garantano keeps it, and he plunges forward. So you're at the 5. You got a couple of plays to work with, and Cole, you would like it in the belly of number 8, right?
I would, but I'm not opposed to that play right there, other than the fact that my quarterback just said he thought he broke his wrist. The coaching staff mentioned to us that they wanted to go east and west just a little bit more. We heard Eric Price say in our meetings with him, we got to get this linebacker core moving because they're so aggressive. Try to get them going with that jet sweep and let your quarterback keep it and try to punch it in. But yeah, I want to see some Mark Thompson here.
Yeah, that's 14 touchdowns last year in the USFL on the ground. Offensive player of the year. He's the setback. It's to the air, and Garantano gets wrapped up immediately by Tavante Beckett. Explosive for a loss of 4.
So part of why this play is so effective is that it was a 2-and-1 call. It was a no back power they call duo with a bullet, a quick pass to the X. Well, Tavante Beckett saw that it was no back power, maybe heard the call, and then he sprinted through the hole. Great play by Beckett.
And now 3rd down and pressure coming on Garantano. Forced to roll and direct and plant. And Garantano goes down again. Strung out by Jordan Mosley and Savion Patton. And the Roughnecks can't punch it in from the red zone. There's a Houston player who is down as well in the backfield. A 6th sack for this San Antonio defense, up to the task in a rock fight in Houston.
Call my number, I got you. Call my number, I got you.
Huge play by Beckett, second down. Now third down, you see Savion Patton and Jordan Mosley. Mosley holds him up. Savion Patton, one of the all-XFL players from last year, sprinting to the football. So that's teamwork. That's second down, leading to third down, leading to ultimately fourth down and a field goal.
3 snaps, and Houston never once handed it to its 235-pound running back, Mark Thompson, down there. So it does prompt a field goal try for the Roughnecks. First trip inside the red zone for Houston, and the second attempt for J.J. Molson, who right before halftime was good from 48. His head coach C.J. Johnson has praised him as a potential NFL guy, where Molson was 3 years ago on the Packers practice squad. This from 31 and the lead, and Molson delivers. And Houston is on top with just outside of 6 minutes to go here in the third.
Not only are they on top, Mike, but San Antonio has had nothing going offensively to date, or at least so far. If they don't have any offensive production downfield, like that big play that we saw earlier, the defense gets more confident. Like if I'm Chris Odom, I'm getting more and more confident. If I'm Adam Rodriguez, I'm getting more and more confident. Anybody on the defensive line, I'm saying, hey man, they are who we thought they were. And so this series for Houston is huge defensively.
You've shouted out the work that this defense has done, orchestrated by their defensive coordinator, Chris Wilson, against a Brahmas offense, third in the league in total offense. Big hinge point in this season league-wide. You've got a Brahmas team at 4-2, a game back of St. Louis, who lost yesterday, and then DC lost against Michigan, who, oh, by the way, if Houston loses this game, the Michigan Panthers clinch a playoff spot, and if not, that second spot in the USFL Conference stays open at least for another week. This is booted away to KD Cannon, who will take it out from a yard deep in his end zone on a booming kick from the Roughnecks. Cannon wrapped up shy of the 20, and poor starting field position for the Brahmas. Let's go down to Cole.
Hey, Jared, it seems like the offense found some momentum on that last drive. Why were you able to get a little more success?
I think the offensive line did a really good job. We were able to run the ball a little bit downhill. We were catching some contested catches. And we're just playing to win right now. The team really wants to win. We're playing our asses off. The defense is really playing really hard. Our offense guys to pick them up.
We know you do. We caught you on camera out there in the huddle saying you thought you broke your wrist. Can you just give us an idea of what you're going through?
Yeah, my wrist is killing me right now. I don't really know what's wrong with it, but I guess we'll find out after the game.
Thanks, Jared.
Thank you.
I mean, he's not shying away from it. Like, it is killing him right now, but he is still in there, and he's still holding it, by the way, and he's going to try to fight through this.
And the toughness that we talked about earlier in the broadcast is showing up on tape. Saw it at Tennessee, but that's who he is. You are who you are, and so that toughness from Garantano is inspiring.
Live line now favors Houston by 2.5. It was Lovett for a loss of a yard, and now Dormady is swarmed. Ethan Westbrooks collapses on him. It's another sack, and it's third down along with Chris Odom.
And that wasn't Westbrooks, though he did have some pressure. That was Odom coming back in on the pressure. Look at him at the top of your screen, comes back in. Adam Rodriguez forces the quarterback back in the pocket. This is why Chris Odom, he had 12.5 sacks in 2022, 6 forced fumbles. Got a chance to get on with the Browns in 2022. Had a knee injury, tore his left ACL, was out of football for almost 20 months. Now he's back and getting stronger week by week.
Third and long, flag flies. Dormady checks it down incomplete for John Lovett, who's not happy with his own sideline. And we will check the marker.
Yep. I'm sorry.
Okay. Before everybody was set. Okay.
Illegal shift, offense. The penalty is declined. Result of play is fourth down.
You mentioned how important that drive was for Wade Phillips' offense and for C.J. Johnson's defense, and this continues what we've seen from Houston's D.
It does, and the reason I get excited about that is that as a defender, you can build more and more confidence as the game goes on. And sometimes it doesn't matter what the offense is or isn't doing. As long as you're doing your job and you're seeing it work right in front of your eyes. People talk about faith, what you don't see. Well, this is what you do see. It just reinforces who you already think you are.
Brad Wing sends one away toward midfield for Justin Hall, and it bounces shy of the 50. And the Roughnecks will take it in plus territory, leading by 3. You're watching the UFL presented by the U.S. Army. Here to close down Week 7 in Houston on this Mother's Day. Week 8 looks like this. Saturday, Memphis and Michigan at 4 on Fox, and then 8 on ESPN2. It's Birmingham trying to stay perfect, which they have been for more than a calendar year against Houston. Sunday at noon on ABC, DC and St. Louis in a big one. And Fox has Arlington and this Brahmas team. With Sam Acho, Cole Kublik, and Ian Fitzsimmons, I'm Mike Monaco with our entire crew behind the scenes.
You got what you're doing, Shorty? Shorty, you got what you're doing? You got to quit. You got to quick on this. Release green light to Z, you got to quit. One step quick.
So Shorty or Shoddy is 5'8". Justin Hall has had some big plays in this game.
5'8", 189, but a big-time player. And this is what we call it could be a potential shot zone.
Ready.
Between the 40s and the 40s, sometimes teams like to go deep.
180.
Let's see what Jared Garantano does. It's a screen to the speedster, Cyril Grayson, and he gets wrapped up at the ankles by Devontae Beckett after just 2.
You mentioned speedster, Mike. He was an All-American running track at LSU. Same high school as Jamar Chase and Christian Fulton.
Hey, was it there?
And Cole, to your point, he did all that. He ran a 4.27 at the LSU Pro Day, and he was mad at himself. Cyril Grayson was mad. He felt it should have been faster.
Must be nice. Second down, a pitch to Pledger. And how about Devontae Beckett? Shot out of a cannon defensively. It's a loss, and it's third down, and this dude has been playing inspired.
Oh, yes. He's one of the fastest linebackers, flies around to the football. But this goes back to the confidence we talked about. Okay, I study these guys on film. I see these formations. I'm going to trust what I see and trust my instinct. Trust and confidence, one of the biggest plays or biggest attributes you can have as a football player.
Will Reed calls him a little pocket rocket. It has forced Houston into third down and 12 from midfield. Garantano will throw toward the sideline to Hall, who hung on to it again. He got popped by Tease Tabor after 6, and it's fourth down.
That dude is tough. Great rush by Tim Ward, coming back and retracing his steps. But you see Hall with the catch, Tabor, the former NFL DB, with a huge hit. But Justin Hall continues to show up. This is, I think, what scouts look at. Okay, are you making plays? What's your toughness look like? I don't care about your size per se. If you can play, you can play.
Same can be said for Devontae Beckett and the impact he's had for the San Antonio defense, which has a player down right now ahead of a punt from the Roughnecks. It's Corey Mayfield, the corner, who has assumed a bigger role as this year has gone on because of a bunch of cornerback injuries for the Brahmas, including a guy you mentioned earlier, Darius Phillips. And this is a very hot day here in Houston and down on this turf as well.
Hot and humid, and the sun is coming out. There was a forecast of a lot of rain, but now it's getting more and more humid as the day goes on.
Let's go down to Fitzy.
Guys, I'm here with Devontae Beckett, and you had that monster hit on Garantano. Yes, where'd your eyes go pre-snap And then how does it feel when you knock the snot out of a quarterback like that?
Honestly, you know, it's all about knowing where you at, on the personnel, but also knowing, you feel me, what the call is and how to execute it, tendencies and, you know, stuff like that. So we knew backside was going to be open. That's why we got that call in, and that call, it was the most perfect time to put it in. We had started this week and it worked, so shout out Coach Reed.
Do you even feel a hit like that, or is it like hitting a baseball just pure, squaring up?
Honestly, it's kind of like you know, you got your adrenaline so pumped up, you really don't feel it. But if you hit them hard enough, you will. So it can be hit or miss, man. So.
It's a big smile on that hit too, Sam. Mike?
Yeah, he's feeling pretty good, and he should be with the impact he has made. Well, how about this? Houston is going to attempt a 61-yard field goal try. Call it 62 for J.J. Molson with a kick on its way. And good for J.J. Molson. This has been the year of the kicker in the UFL.
The 8th generation kicker in the UFL. There's so many elite kickers. I was thinking yesterday, man, think about offensive player of the year in the UFL and defensive player of the year, and then you go to special teams player of the year. It has to be one of these kickers, whether it's Ryan Bates, who made a couple of 60-plus yarders, or right here, Molson. Kickers in the UFL are shining, and special teams coaches are taking note.
When you're 76 and you've seen as much football as Wade Phillips has, that's his reaction to seeing 62 from Molson.
And Fitzy, your brother is a special teams coach in the NFL. What is the conversation going on with special teams coaches when it comes to watching kicks like these?
Sam, you know, I don't talk to Fitz about when it comes to ball, but I do talk to other coordinators around the NFL, and not one but two special teams coaches. When Will Reichert out of Alabama was drafted just a few weeks ago, they both hit me up independent of one another going, I would never draft a kicker right now. I would go to the UFL if you need a kicker. And they both mentioned Aubrey with the Dallas Cowboys, who was damn near automatic last year and a Pro Bowler. Now, look at what Bates is doing in Michigan. You see that kick? If you need a kicker, come right here to this league.
These kickers are fighting the good fight against Larry David. Remember, he wanted to get rid of the goalposts. They're saying, nah, keep this around. Here's KD Cannon for a Brahmas team now down by 6, and he bursts out to the 35-yard line for San Antonio. Saw all those long kicks. You mentioned Jake Bates, and Matt McCrane has been excellent this year. And Andre Schmidt hit a long one. Now J.J. Molson for C.J. Johnson. Cole.
J.J. talk to you. But hey, take us through that field goal attempt real quick.
The what?
The field goal that you hit. Take us through it.
Oh, yeah, I mean, pretty much we had the win, so might as well take a shot.
Okay, how much was it wind aided? You're allowed to say not much here.
I'd say a good amount.
Come on, this is your time to shine here.
It was windy.
All right, I'll say this. JT Tyler on the sideline looked over to me. He said, mark it down. He's going to make this field goal. Your whole team has confidence in you.
Yeah, I mean, the best part about football is bigger than yourself, right? So you want to be accountable to your teammates and not let them down. So anytime we get that opportunity, we try and capitalize. So
thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
There you go, guys. Humility of kickers. Who knew?
27-year-old out of UCLA doesn't want any credit, giving it to Mother Nature. Second down and 11, and Dormady nearly slipped, and then Justin Smith with a drop. Third down.
Talk about that momentum. It's almost like you feel this seesaw, and it feels like unless something happens for San Antonio, like a big play, it's hard to get that momentum shifted back in your favor.
First 3 drives, they had 154 yards. The last 5 drives, it's only 9 yards for the Brahmas. Dormady's only 1 for his last 10. Dormady up the sideline, and he is picked. Another takeaway, and Colby Richardson plucks it, and all the momentum has seesawed to the Roughnecks.
Colby Richardson is out of LSU, undrafted free agent from the Carolina Panthers, 6 feet, 180. But what does this play matter? We talked about that honey hole. You heard A.J. Smith say it earlier. That is the honey hole, but that ball did not have enough air under it. And oh, by the way, Colby Richardson is playing it smart. He's sinking underneath that deep route. And so he knows the weakness of that defense, and he's playing to that weakness. Every defense has a weakness. Somebody has to take advantage of it.
Another takeaway for Houston. And now Reed Sinnett's in at quarterback, and he hands it off to Mark Thompson. Cole.
Colby Richardson got that interception. Take us through your read. What did you see? How did you diagnose it?
Just going through my keys. Coach said they were going to try to take a shot. You know, within two, I had a chance to get a good reroute and seen the quarterback throw the ball, and it's paradise at the end of the day.
All right, Colby, that's multiple turnovers. They've had multiple trips into the red zone without a touchdown today. Why is this defense having so much success?
I mean, it's just how we prepare as a defense. You know, we come out there every day, Monday through Friday, practicing hard, and just going through everything, just trying to be the best defense every week, and trying to eliminate all the middle stuff. Hey, let's go, boy! Try to get better as a defense every week.
Tell me about the run. Tell me about Mark Thompson there.
Hey, he a dog. He a dog. Just keep feeding him, man. Now, I had to get that one for my mom. She said she wanted a pick for Mother's Day, so happy Mother's Day.
There you go. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
That is fantastic content. I mean, we got guys tumbling onto the sidelines after a 36-yard Thompson run, and Colby Richardson, the pick that set it all up.
And the pick that was for his mom for Mother's Day. But Mark Thompson is a bigger back going to the offensive side of the ball. He's hard to bring down, but he has elusive level speed.
And now TJ Pledger takes it to the 19 for an offense that is running it with Jarrett Garantano out of the game. How about Colby Richardson, the pick, and then our special, and we reveal the Monday Night Football schedule. Let's take a look at today's game flow. It is brought to you by Progressive.
Call my number. I got you.
Devontae Beckett saying, call my number. He's been fired up.
Oh, and I've been fired up. This has been a defensive battle, and this is what when you turn the tape off on Houston and San Antonio, this is what you see.
Reed Sinnett goes to the air for Justin Hall. Tries to turn upfield, and he goes out of bounds at the 8. Shoved out by Jordan Mosley after 10. And this game now belongs to Reed Sinnett.
It does. Garantano seems like he's injured, seems like he's out of the game. But Sinnett started the last several games for this team, so it's not like there's going to be a huge switch or a huge change. The offensive line is used to his cadence. The receivers are used to his calmness. And so I expect more success from Sinnett, even though he didn't start the game coming into this week.
Out of FCS, San Diego has started the last 4 games. Mark Thompson probes for space, and he's wrapped up for no gain. And now 2nd and goal coming.
Well, fellas, as we get close to the goal line here, remember Brandon Haskin now in for Nate Rogers. So that jumbo package that we talked about with the extra offensive linemen that Houston wanted to utilize in this game, that is no longer available for this football team.
That's true, but the benefit of Haskin coming in is that next man up mentality. He's gotten a lot of reps over the last several weeks as the extra offensive lineman, so there's confidence in here.
He's in a right tackle. That's the direction for Mark Thompson, trying to hopscotch his way for anything. And he actually loses a yard, and now it's 3rd down and goal in a game filled with field goals.
In a game filled with, you would call it a conservative type of play calling, which has worked in your favor. When your defense is having this much success, it's okay to be more conservative.
Sinnett at the controls. This guy's a former Brahma as well. Last year was with the Brahmas, dealt with a broken foot. They cut him in January, and Houston claimed him off waivers. His offense takes a timeout, the first for him in this second half, in the first couple of minutes of the fourth quarter.
See if we can score on the pump.
You want to? Pump got to be.
With the Z-stick. Z-stick on extra.
A crowdsourcing type of conversation over there.
But I love it because they're thinking, okay, what has worked and what hasn't? Who's our quarterback and who isn't? So we heard about that stick nod. These are like semi-double moves. You heard about this jerk move. It's like a stop and a go. And so they understand it's 3rd and 9, 3rd and goal, got to score. And so let's maybe pump it. Let's try this jerk route. Let's try and see if the defense will sit down when we sit down, and let's explode out of it. And so when you're in the red zone, everything gets more condensed. And so your coverages become a little bit more difficult. Oftentimes coverages are tagged with red, right? I'm going to play cover 9, red 9. And those are differences that, because certain routes only come up in the red zone.
And that's where Reed Sinnott operates, because that wrist, now with ice on it, has forced Jared Garantano from this game, with Houston leading against 4-2 San Antonio. Sinnott under pressure, got it away. Chisholm goes spinning inside of the 5 before he's wrapped up at the 3. After 6 yards by Jordan Mosley, and now it's 4th and goal. And does it stay conservative with another field goal? Certainly appears to be the case.
It does, and I don't mind this decision. I was thinking in my excitement, hey, maybe you go for it, but it's your defense has been dominant all game long, part 1. Part 2, you're up by 6, you make it up by 9. Now all of a sudden, it's still a 1-score game in the UFL because the other team can score and go for 3, but now a score and a 3-point conversion doesn't beat you.
So the very humble J.J. Molson comes out for a mere 21-yard try this time, and he sends it through with plenty of room to spare. So yes, still a 1-score game, but the lead is 9 now for the Roughnecks at home. Go in the regular season, and it is tight here in the XFL conference, closing down week 7 with the Brahmas trying to pull even with the Battlehawks. They still have a matchup to come. So 3 weeks left in the regular season, and in week 8, Saturday, it's Memphis and Michigan at 4 on Fox, followed by Birmingham and Houston at 8 on ESPN2, and a big one, noon Sunday, ABC, DC, and St. Louis, and Fox has Arlington and San Antonio. Had a lot going on in this game. 15 combined points, all on the legs of field goal kickers. Sam Acho, Cole Kublik, Ian Fitzsimmons, Mike Monaco with you on this Mother's Day, and our entire crew behind the scenes. J.J. Molson is 4 for 4, and he kicks this one just inside the 20, where K.D. Cannon takes it up the left sideline and run out at the 31. We wondered if we would see a quarterback change, and Quentin Dormady does not appear to be headed in for San Antonio. So that means Kevin Hogan is taking over. Former Stanford quarterback, won the Rose Bowl a couple of times, and has also played 9 games in the NFL over 3 seasons, and at one point started for the Browns back in 2017. Signed by this Brahmas team with the injury to starter Chase Garbers after week 3. John Lovett gets it on Hogan's first snap, and it's 2 yards. Fitz.
Is angry, frustrated, perturbed. Any negative adjective you want to use, that is the quarterback for the San Antonio Brahmas right now. I don't know if he took himself out or if A.J. Smith benched him, but he is beyond frustrated, angry, you name it, he's it.
Fitzy, what are you hearing from Dormady on the sideline?
Well, on a couple of plays in that last possession, Sam, I'll tell you after this play.
Hogan to the air, and he finds Jontre Kirkland, enough for a first down.
You had the offensive line for the Brahmas saying they should be running the ball because there are only 6 guys in the box. Dormady came out saying there's too many guys in the box. So it's a big miscommunication right now with San Antonio.
Yeah, our microphones picked up Quentin Dormady during one of the commercial breaks saying we can't run it because we're outnumbered in the box. So therefore, they were just teeing off on him when he would throw it. And now Kevin Hogan can do more of this than Dormady can. Uses his legs on first down and picks up about 3 or 4.
We heard from A.J. Smith saying, hey, there may be a package for Kevin Hogan, not necessarily this package, this much opportunity, but they liked him using his legs. They like him in the zone read game. And so defensively, you have to change your mindset. Hey, new quarterback, new offense, be ready.
John Lovett takes it and finds a hole up the middle. They will mark him about 1.5 yards shy of a first down.
And we're already seeing a little bit more of that momentum on this offense. I understand that Dormady may be upset about what's happening, but you're looking, okay, 1 for your last 11. You just threw an interception. Our offense has 3 points. Let's see if we can get a spark.
They're trying to find it from John Lovett, who's coming out of the game right now. Somebody's done just 9 carries, 18 yards after $153 last week. And the over-under for him for rushing yards was 58.5. So Morgan Ellison comes in, and he goes right up the middle. 230-pounders got a first down after picking up 2.
27 Ellison, first down.
Blue check 15, blue check 15, blue check 15.
Brahmas ran it so much last week against DC, but A.J. Smith said to us it was because of the field conditions and receivers slipping. Going to the air here with Kevin Hogan. Up the seam, and it's incomplete. Markel Roby could not get both feet down, is the ruling. Otherwise, it would have been another takeaway for the Houston defense.
And if you're wondering, okay, why is Kevin Hogan throwing that pass? Well, there's a miscommunication. If you're in practice and you're the 2, you're not getting the reps with the 1s. And so obviously there's this big-time miscommunication, and I could tell that Dean Blandino in the U.S. Army Command Center can obviously see that was not an interception, but he's reviewing plays like those.
And then late play clock here. Hogan was coming off to the sideline to get the call. Play clock winding down on the Brahmas. Got it off, and Hogan will check it down to Lovett, who makes an athletic catch, breaks a tackle, and Lovett goes up the sideline toward the 35, trying to create something through the air with the ground game stifled for John Lovett. We got an injury along the sideline as well. They spotted Lovett just shy of the stick, so third down coming up with the quarterback change for the Brahmas. Well, this is in pursuit of the playoffs, and the Roughnecks, with only 1 win this year, they've got a 9-point lead on a since-benched Quentin Dormady and San Antonio. Kevin Hogan is now at the controls, and it's 3rd down and 1. Hogan pulls it and tried to get it away, and he did to Alizé Mack, who appears to be still short of the sticks. 4th down as Rodriguez and Tyler were in on it defensively.
See, that's still a great heads-up play by Dormady. Okay, you say first, you got to give it. It's his own read. But he knows he has that pass off of it. You're 7 yards deep. Do not take the sack. Find your receiver. Don't put the ball in harm's way. Notice him switch hands. Alizé Mack out of Notre Dame. He's ready for it. And so now all of a sudden you give your offense a chance to still go for it because it's 4th and 1 as opposed to punt. As opposed to punt in a 4th and 7.
And you see the true line technology. Play clock is winding down. Hogan did get the snap off to Lovett, and it looks like he's got enough for a first down.
Big time play and big time play call. I've seen this formation, but I haven't seen them run this play to the left side of the line of scrimmage. And so that's why you have a big back, a guy like John Lovett, over 200 pounds. He can lean on a defense. And so, okay, you feel like you're in good position, but this guy's body type just hurts you.
4 years at Baylor and 1 at Penn State for Lovett, as Hogan kept it, and he got swarmed. Marvin Moody in on the stop, and now 2nd down midway through this 4th quarter. And Moody slow to get up, and so the officials stop play to check on the weak side linebacker out of Tulane for Willie Fretz.
You can see, Mike, some of the players on the defense squatting a little bit, trying to get some more water. 2 things are happening with this quarterback switch. At least what we're seeing is the offense is on the field more for San Antonio, which makes the defense a little bit more tired. And the heat and the humidity, Cole and Fitzy, both of you all are down on the field. We didn't expect weather like this. What does it feel like, Fitzy? What does it feel like for you down on that field?
Put it this way, I can't take my sport coat off because I've sweat through the blue shirt I have on underneath it. There you go. I mean, it's muggy. There is a breeze, which is good, but Cole's over there with a Gatorade towel over his head.
I have taken my sport coat off, and I did sweat through my shirt as well, but I don't care. It's just that hot down here. So you guys remember those old summer days where the rain comes in and then it leaves and the sun comes out, and it feels like that humidity is just like rising off the field? That's kind of what we got going on right here in Houston. It is muggy down here on the sideline. I don't think the offense has a lot to do with the fatigue. It is sweltering.
And mind you, you guys are in sport coats. Those guys are in shoulder pads and helmets and thigh pads. This is a 10-play, 5-minute drive that you could tell is wearing on the defense.
And it's empty for Kevin Hogan. Hogan finds Jontre Kirkland. Stop and start, and he creates extra space. And he's got a first down to the 19-yard line. This puts the sweat in blood, sweat, and respect. Weather on the 7s brought to you by Kublik and Fitzsimmons.
He knew how to dress in this weather. He knew what. Give me a dry fit, breathable.
Poor guys up here in the booth are locked into their suits. Chris Wilson's defense has been stout for the Roughnecks, up by 9. Kevin Hogan with a clean pocket, rifles to the end zone, and too tall for Marquez Stevenson. Now remember, with the margin at 9, this is a one-score game. If you're flipping around and you land it here, in the UFL after touchdowns, there's no kicks. You can choose to go for 1, 2, or 3. And a 3-point try is from the 10-yard line. So in theory, you can tie it here with the touchdown and 3. It's a draw, and it's John Lovett with a stiff arm. And a burst for John Lovett to plunge inside the 10.
And I know this isn't what offensive coordinator A.J. Smith necessarily wanted to do. He's a pass-first type of coordinator. But what was effective for them last week was handing the ball to John Lovett, 153 rushing yards.
Strong right, Denver slip. Strong right, Denver slip. Strong right, Denver slip.
And Denver is another running play. It's that inside zone. Slip, usually it means that Alize Mack or Cody Latimer is going to go around the defensive end, and then the quarterback could keep it.
They need 23 inches for a first down, and they've got it and then some with Morgan Ellison out of southeastern Louisiana.
You're going to get a full roll for that Houston defensive line as well. A whole new wave checking in, Acho. As you were talking about, a lot of fatigue setting in for the Roughnecks front.
We saw a 14-play drive and counting for this San Antonio March with a new quarterback for Chris Wilson to solve. Kevin Hogan, who got drafted by the Chiefs, pitches to Morgan Ellison, trying the left side, and Ellison gets a couple before he's run out of bounds by Corn Elder.
And if you're flipping through, as you mentioned earlier, you may see, okay, 9-point game, but also the clock still runs. Outside of the 2-minute mark, the clock will continue to run, whether it's an incomplete pass or even if the ball is out of bounds. Once it gets back set, it will run. And then lastly, if San Antonio scores, they don't have to kick the ball off. They can go for it 4th and 12 from their own 28-yard line. And if they get it, they continue to keep the ball.
So they've got options here. And Houston, meanwhile, still has its challenge. San Antonio does not.
Houston has called their second timeout of the half. It's 30 seconds.
So Houston takes a timeout there with the play clock winding down.
And that may have been just to get these guys some water. I mean, if I was out, like, it's hard to describe how hot it is on that football field. Not even hot. Let me correct myself. Humid. Houston is one of the most humid cities in the country. And so you think about the high humidity on this field, and then the sun coming out, and then you think about, okay, I'm on the field, the clock is running, it's hard to sub, it's easy to get fatigued.
It's not just Houston. You saw Sam Tecklenburg, the Brahmas center, helmet off, kind of hunched over, just trying to get a little bit of extra air, a little bit of extra oxygen.
71. And his head coach is doing the same, trying to hydrate in these conditions in a homecoming for the 76-year-old Wade Phillips. There's so many ties here to Houston. Brahmas are looking around with all sorts of confusion here. Lovett's the back. Roughnecks trying to stay ready in case of any deception. Hogan in the gun. Hogan flips, edge, Kirkland, and he's wrapped up. Corn Elder in on the stop, and there is a flag down. It might be offsides.
We're at the 2, so we're going to go half the distance. Correct? We're at the 2?
We're at the half, 1.5.
So we're going to go half the distance, though.
Yeah,
Number 58, Andy?
58.
Okay.
Yes.
Offside, defense, number 58. The penalty's half the distance to the goal. Repeat, second down.
And now Ronheen Bingham, defensive end out of Arkansas State for C.J. Johnson. He's down as well for the Roughnecks.
And he had a big-time sack last week on A.J. McCarron, a one-handed sack on A.J. McCarron last week. He's a big-time player for this Houston Roughnecks defense.
Give me goal line 2. Goal line 2. Goal line 2. Here we go. Goal line 2. Goal line 2. Goal line 2.
So Chris Wilson, former two-time captain at Oklahoma, former defensive coordinator at Mississippi State and Colorado, calls in goal line 2. And Johnny Yarbrough, backup offensive lineman, has come in a heavy formation for the Brahmas. Lovett left side and nowhere to go. Donald Rutledge met him.
That goal line 2, you hear it, goal line 2 corners. Why does that matter? I want my goal line formation, and I want 4 big guys in there. I want all my linebackers, but I still need corners in case they pass it. So the big guys, those 4 or 5 big guys, are slowing down the front.
Timeout, Coach. Here we go, bench red 53 wide. Bench red 53 wide. Bench red 53 wide. Bench red 53 wide.
Houston incessantly trying to get the personnel in. They don't want to burn their last timeout, but they do. So they've burned 2 defensive timeouts here in the last 5 minutes of regulation, trying to get set up.
Here we go, everybody stay next.
I don't mind that timeout. Okay. Because in this situation, if you're confused, if you have the wrong personnel grouping in there, if guys are lost, all of a sudden you give up a touchdown, and all of a sudden it's not, and it's because something that was your own fault. Call the timeout, get in the right formation, and if they're going to beat you, make them beat you because they did it, not because you beat yourself.
You also lost, Acho. I'm with Sam there. They were lost. They couldn't get lined up correctly. I think this series, this play is that big. I think it's worth the timeout.
Okay, and you lose the ability to challenge as well. So you guys are both okay with it, even though the timeouts were taken with 2 seconds left on the play clock and then 1 second left on the play clock.
I am totally okay with it because points matter. Yes, you lose your ability to challenge, but the points in this situation matter. There's no point challenging if you give up a touchdown all of a sudden because of a mistake you made.
Defense has been huge all game. 3rd down and goal for Kevin Hogan and the Brahmas. Lovett across the middle, and he looks to be short. They mark him down inside the 1, and it's 4th down and goal.
Cole Lavallo, right guard's trying to get him to go fast. He's trying to get him to go tempo here. NASCAR.
He's clearly short, touched, and he is down.
That was really great play by JT Tyler once again,
here.
having his feet right at the goal line, having no one be able to go behind him. This play is being reviewed by Dean again in the U.S. Army Command Center, but now they're going back to the line to hurry up.
And they look at everything inside of 5 minutes. And now Hogan under center tries to sneak, and Kevin Hogan trying to push the pile. There's a flag down and no signal yet. And they're marking him down short.
What's your ruling? Short? You got him short? You've got him short of the goal line.
Kevin Hogan is incessant that he scored.
Okay, so The first ruling is that we have him short.
And is in the
but
ear of the
during
white
the play,
hat,
we had a
Jason
personal
Autry.
foul face mask. Defense number 94.
They have the face
half the distance, automatic first down.
They called the face mask.
Team Blandino's in the U.S. Army Command Center.
Personal foul, face mask.
So that's going to give him a
defense number
first and
94.
goal.
The penalty's half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
And we have progress short. That second push is after progress was ruled. And 94 is the face mask.
So they marked him short, but there's a face mask on 94, Keontae Shad, and maybe with that left arm in there.
Yeah, you can see it, and that goes back to that even player safety conversation as well. So even if it wasn't seen, Dean can look at that and say, hey, player safety issue, I'm able to look at it.
And now Shad bowls over Aaron Montero pre-snap.
Neutral zone infraction, defense number 94. Penalties half the distance to goal, remains first down.
And again, if you're just flipping around, landed here, this is the United Football League where a 9-point margin is still a one-score game because you don't kick extra points. You elect to go for 1, 2, or 3. And this has been the longest drive we've seen from San Antonio in quite some time. And it's rare you see 10 minutes on a drive that has gone 17 plays and counting. First down and goal, and Lovett is in for a touchdown. The Brahmas' first touchdown of the day, and they win a war of attrition on that drive. So again, you can choose to go for 1 point from the 2, 2 points from the 5, or 3 points from the 10, and that appears to be the decision, of course, for San Antonio. League-wide, only 3 3-point attempts entering this week. 1 for 3 is the success rate.
And that matters for a few reasons. One of the reasons is that in practice, you practice certain plays, whether 1, 2, or 3. Oftentimes, if you always go for 2, you're practicing your 2-point plays. But now you have to have a 3-point play. If you don't do it as often in games, you may not practice it as much during the week, especially with a backup quarterback. Let's see if Hogan can step up.
It's empty for the backup quarterback, Kevin Hogan, going for 3 to Cody Latimer. We're tied at 12.
This is what Cody Latimer does. He was a second-round pick from the Broncos, a Super Bowl champion. He said this is his last round of football. He's got a story, and he's wanting some people to tell it for him.
Cody Latimer playing that final year of football at age 31. A guy so proud to be 2+ years sober from alcohol after the touchdown run from John Lovett. It's Latimer for 3 from the 10 from Kevin Hogan.
And Cody Latimer is Mr. Clutch for this team. And when they're down, when they need it, fourth quarter, they go to Cody Latimer.
He got it! Yes! 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 Oh! Oh boy!
First time Wade Phillips served as an NFL head coach, his running back was Earl Campbell. Last time we saw him in the NFL was with the Rams, and he once joked there that it was the first head coach, Sean McVay, on childcare and defensive coordinator on Medicare. He has seen some things. I don't know about this, Fitzy.
Hey, guys. Cody, take us through that play. Where'd your eyes go right when you saw the play call?
I mean, I lit up once I saw the blitz. You know, they give signs. I seen the guy over me looking inside, looked like he was about to blitz. And I told Kev, I was like, watch him. And he made a good play, throwing the ball over the linebacker's head to get the 3 points. So now we're back in this game.
You love that 3-point conversion.
Yes, sir, we do.
Guys.
Drama from the Brahmas again. Tied at 12, Reggie Roberson streaks out past the 30, spins down at the 40, lost the football. The Brahmas have it. Wow!
You gotta be kidding.
Tease Tabor comes up with it for the Brahmas.
All they needed was a spark, and it's what they got. You look at this return, you say, no, it's a big-time return. Look at that huge hit. Looked like it was Bryce Thompson, who played with the Seattle Sea Dragons last year.
Close.
Now Dean's checking it.
Okay, we're going to be very patient here. There's no hurry to get him out. So, you want to just tell him we're stopping this, Dean?
Yeah, we're going to review it. You can tell him that. Okay, high right end zone doesn't give me much. I'm on a low left. I'm looking to see if the first body part is going to be that right arm. That's, yeah. My near cart's the best look. Near cart's the best look, and as the contact occurs, it starts to come out. I can't put that forearm down clearly before the ball is out. We do have a clear recovery. Nothing else.
We'll find out.
Far handheld, one more look. I'm on the far handheld. Nope. Okay, Jason, we're going to let it stand. It's just nothing to change it.
All right, after video review, ruling on the field stands first down San Antonio?
Correct.
Got it.
After video review, the ruling on the field stands first down San Antonio.
So even though Houston did not have its challenge, replay can look at this in the last 5 minutes of the fourth and overtime, and that's what Dean Blandino and his crew did.
Correct. The last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter and overtime, if there's a play that could significantly change the outcome of the game, they look at it. They looked at that one. They kept the call on.
And so the Brahmas are now tied with the ball, and Wade Phillips is just in constant action after these big plays. Man, what swings for his group as we hit the 2-minute warning in the fourth.
And the man you see on your screen, Bryce Thompson, former Miami Dolphin, he knows what it takes to win, attacks the football, gets it out, recovered by Tabor. All of a sudden, we got ourselves a game.
Blocker and BT, Bryce Thompson, punched it out. Tease Tabor came away with it, and the Brahmas, who are now tied 12-all with Houston, have the football with 2 minutes to go, and the Roughnecks are out of timeouts. And this Roughnecks defense has been on the field for most of this fourth quarter. It's John Lovett on the ground, setting up 3rd down and 4.
And not only most of the fourth quarter, but in this heat, in this humidity, they've been on the field for the last 34 minutes of real time.
Yeah.
So think about the amount of trying to cool your body down. Okay, it's kickoff. Let me get some rest. Offense will go. Nope, it's a turnover. Sudden change. You have to bow up right now if your defense, offense, get a few more yards for Santoso to have a potential game-winning field goal.
21 of the
same guys were on that kick return team. Excuse me, Mike. Sorry, but that's, I mean, there's a lot of carryover there too, even.
No doubt.
Snaps. A little bit of cloud cover right now, a little bit of a breeze, so that might help just a smidge.
Here we go. This is going to be the call. Everyone pay attention. You got
San Antonio uses 1 of 2 remaining.
All right, let me know the play, please. Party, Drake.
We need this first down.
AJ Smith with the microphone off right now, delivering the message in the huddle. As you saw, Ryan Santoso, the kicker this year, who entered this week 8 for 9, took over for destroying Donald Delahaye in week 3, looming. And you heard Wade Phillips say, we need this first down. Again, Houston used 2 defensive timeouts in the red zone with inside of 5 minutes to go, with the play clocks winding down inside of 3 seconds on both occasions. 3rd down for the Brahmas. John Lovett up the middle, and he's got a first down toward the 31.
I don't know if you're seeing this, but ever since Kevin Hogan came in the game, it's not even what he's done, but it's what this offense has changed and morphed into. They morphed into who they were last week. Run the ball first. Hey, we have a backup quarterback in there. Lead on our offensive line. We have a 5-time Pro Bowl offensive line coach who's coaching these guys up. So let's not be too fancy or too pretty. Let's do what we do.
We heard the word from Fitz. Quentin Dormady frustrated to be benched. Lovett tries the left side and nowhere to go into the arms of Christopher Allen for a loss of 1. What a sequence this has been here in the fourth on a hot and humid day that has left Wade Phillips ragged. You had the Roughnecks up by 9 in the fourth. San Antonio marches on a never-ending drive, has just the second three-point conversion in the league this year to tie to Cody Latimer, and then Bryce Thompson forces a Reggie Roberson fumble on the return. Inside of 20 seconds to go. Right now it would be from 49, and Lovett's got nothing. It's a loss, and so it would be a 50-yard try for Ryan Santoso.
Mike, if you're thinking about kicking this direction or maybe the opposite direction, I spoke to Logan Klussman, the long snapper for the Houston Roughnecks. When they potentially were going to have the football going the opposite direction, he said there is a 10-yard difference going the direction that the Brahmas are going now as opposed to going to the opposite goalpost. So they've got the wind behind their back right now for San Antonio.
Fitz was checking with both special teams groups pregame as well, Cole. And what he learned pregame was that in this direction, kicking to the left with the wind behind him, they feel comfortable from 58 with Ryan Santoso. But you see, his long this year was last week from 43. He's got 7 games of NFL experience. He's taking online pilot classes in college right now, working on his aviation degree. From 51 for the win for Santoso. On its way, and good!
Oh, man!
All it takes is one. Wow. One play, one player who was on the street, Ryan Santoso, wasn't with the team. They called him after destroying, got injured, and all of a sudden, he's been a huge integral part of this defense, or this team, really. Defense, special teams, they all collide together. And then Bryce Thompson has been injured earlier, came back on special teams, not on defense, on special teams. Get the ball back to your team. And Ryan Santoso taking online classes. Last time we talked to him, he had a final.